The syphilis outbreak of 1494. Prostitutes into scapegoats.
What is that on her face? What is that? Why is really illegal? Now, me personally, I think it should be legal just for the simple fact that that would completely help the people that cannot get the punani get it, and they're going to be less tense, and they're not going to get online, because if I see another rant on Twitter about women and guys not being able to get women, bro, it's mad annoying. It's very annoying. Let's get into it.
They say prostitution is the world's oldest profession.
Damn.
So why is it really illegal? And who's behind that? And when you look at the laws, they certainly raise some questions. Where I live, for instance, you can pay someone to have sex with you on camera. That's legal. You can pay someone to be your girlfriend, give her gifts, cover her rent. And as long as nobody says the transaction out loud, that's fine. But if you hand a woman cash for sex in a hotel room, you're now a criminal.
GG's.
So what exactly are we policing and preventing? I'm Ken LaCorte.
Yeah, hold on now. The Loki just was spin just now. I could pay for your rent. I could pay for your car. I could pay your bills. I can do all of this stuff. But if I say it out loud, now it's illegal. But if we just don't say that word, then it's not illegal? Come on now, the loopholes is crazy.
I dig into questions that polite people sometimes don't like to touch because they tell us a lot about our society and why the world is the way it is.
I like this guy.
So here's the elephant in the room. Prostitution has been legal, even celebrated for most of human history. But now it can lead you right to jail.
Did he?
We'll trace the evolution of prostitution throughout history and take a look at the common answers for why it's illegal.
Okay.
Then we'll dig into the concept of strengthening the family with the reason that nobody likes to admit out loud. And finally, we'll
because it's like as soon as a guy gets married, it seems like from what other people have told me, they stop getting it. So if they stop getting it, now they're frustrated and they're like, bro, I need my fix. I'm a man. I have needs too. You know what I'm saying? We have needs. I was gonna say they, but we have needs. So from what I hear is they may or may not allegedly go out and do certain things, and they're just way happier because people don't understand that when you have blue balls, bro, and you're backed up, bro, everything starts looking good, and it's crazy.
Examine the female factor and why it matters a lot more than most people realize. So for much of human history, prostitution wasn't just legal, but in a weird twist, it was actually run by governments and religious leaders. In ancient Mesopotamia, temple brothels were run by the priests of the goddess Ishtar. Some women performed religious sex rituals, others worked on the temple grounds, and the lowest tier walked the streets. It was ordinary civic life, woven into religion and commerce. The Greeks took this and scaled it up. Athens had state-owned brothels that funded public works, including...
Now, chat. Oh, shit, baby.
Hold on. Courtesans...
Okay, there we go. Yo, chat. Damn. Titties everywhere. Yo, chat. Do you guys think you could like pay for it? If you say you're in like a 5-month dry spell, do you think you can pay for it?
Weren't just prostitutes. The high-end ones were educated companions who dined with philosophers and politicians. They paid taxes, wore distinct clothing, and occupied a recognized place in society.
So this is a real
Rome
job.
Had the same model. Prostitution was legal, taxed, and kind of everywhere. Walk through the ruins of Pompeii, and you'll find brothels etched into the graffiti.
Bro, but I just gotta think, bro, the kitty is gonna look like straight roast beef meat. Bro, it's gonna be pulverized, bro. It's gonna look like someone grabbed a piece of chicken, grabbed the mallet, and was just pounding it. Bang, 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 bang. Bro, that is crazy. And there's probably guys in there eating it, all types of stuff.
There, a visit could cost you what you might pay for a loaf of bread. And then Christianity spread, and the mood shifted. The church shut down pagan temples and pushed prostitution into a lower status. Catholic doctrine declared...
Isn't paganism close to Zionism? Oh, never mind.
Sex outside the marriage sinful and condemned prostitution outright. But the reality was messier. Church leaders viewed prostitution as a necessary evil that prevented worse sins like rape or the seduction of respectable women. St. Augustine put it bluntly, if you expel prostitution from society, you will unsettle everything on account of lusts. That uncomfortable tolerance lasted until the plague and the Protestant Reformation changed everything. The syphilis outbreak of 1494 turned prostitutes into scapegoats.
What is that on her face? What is that? Bro, see, now this is the things. People are like, oh my God, we love sex. Oh my God, I need it. Oh my God, I need it. But this right here is the outcome if you do certain things like that. That's why you have to make sure to wrap your willy. Do not just kiss on anything or do not eat some nasty kitty. Come on now, this is crazy.
Protestant reformers saw brothels as symbols of Catholic corruption, and they pushed for purity. Catholic leaders, feeling the pressure, they started advocating stricter morals themselves, and by the 1600s, prostitution was criminalized across most of Europe. The 19th century saw crackdowns worldwide. Prior to that, growing industrial cities often had red light districts, like New Orleans' Storyville or San Francisco's Barbary Coast, before reformers shut them down.
I didn't know that.
Today, it's a bit of a patchwork, but in most of the world, it's still largely banned. A few countries have legalized it outright, while others treat it as a serious crime.
But what I don't understand is, like, OnlyFans, isn't that just online panhandling, online prostitution, essentially? Isn't that what OnlyFans is online prostitution? So why is that legal in America, but like the act of meeting people in person is not? It's very confusing. There's a lot of gray area. A lot of loopholes, it sounds like.
Laws tend to be a little stricter in Asia and Africa, and very strict in the Middle East. So that's a quick history, but it doesn't really get into the whys.
Okay.
But before that, a little aside. Years back, I had an office in a newsroom where I had a bank of televisions across the wall.
Is this an
And it was
ad?
the first time that I could clearly visualize media bias in action. Because when you have just one source or point of view for news, it's super hard to see how they're spinning things.
The facts.
That's why I use and really dig today's sponsor.
Ah, man, Skip. It's probably a good news source, but jump ahead. All right.
Or scan the QR code here.
All right.
Okay, so back to prostitution. Let's take a look at the most common answers
He
we
said,
hear.
he's sorry, look, back to prostitution. What the fuck?
Being outlawed. The most popular argument is that we're protecting women from exploitation. Progressive era reformers, they worried about white slavery, gangs abducting innocent girls into brothels.
Valid.
And the modern version is similar, with the DOJ prosecuting hundreds of trafficking cases each year. And to be clear, these cases have real victims. Women in poverty, runaways, homeless teens, pressured
Christ.
by people or circumstances to turn to prostitution. Opponents of legalization argue that normalizing the sex trade would create more demand. The traffickers could hide victims in the legal system with false documents and threats. But here's the thing.
Would it though? Because I feel like there will be less people. I feel like there'll be less serial killers and maybe not serial killers. That might be a bad example, but there might be less. What do you call it? Incels? Less incels, right? Because now they can pay for it just outright. So that need to an urge, bro. I feel like if it was legal, so many people that spend all their time trying to quote unquote crack the code to get women and this, that, and the other, bro. It's easily accessible. So if something is easily accessible, after a while, it's gonna be like, do I really want it? Maybe I should go focus on myself now. Let me focus on my goals to being a better person, a better human being. You know what I'm saying?
Voluntary sex work gets lumped together with forced trafficking, and the state justifies arresting women supposedly for their own good. And the women who actually get arrested the most, they're not the high-end escorts, they're the poorer ones. Okay, so public health has been another rationale for centuries, like the syphilis outbreaks I mentioned.
Ew.
In the 1800s, Britain's Contagious Diseases Acts forced suspected prostitutes to submit to invasive medical examinations. During World War I, the U.S. detained thousands of women near American military bases under the American Plan. Okay.
So the enemies were bringing their most disgusting, vile women that they probably got syphilis, they probably got AIDS, HIV, everything under the sun, gonorrhea, right? And then they were like, on a silver platter, here you go. So they would probably plant the woman to get the soldier sick.
So then there's what I call the nuisance factor. When prostitution is visible, residents complain. Cars circling blocks, johns and prostitutes loitering in neighborhoods, and this is why poor people get arrested more than wealthy ones.
Gotcha.
I mean,
because it's
if
not
you
discreet
quietly
enough.
meet someone and go to a hotel room, few people even notice.
Yeah.
But when you're doing your business in a car or someplace more visible, people want you gone.
That makes sense.
So these
That
are
makes
the
sense.
reasons we hear the most, but they don't fully explain why prostitution is criminalized almost everywhere, while other risky jobs aren't. I mean, Coal mining kills worker at a rate twice the average person. And it's a
Damn.
hard way to live your life. But it's called honest work. We allow people to sell their blood, rent their wombs as surrogates, and work at all sorts of dangerous
That's
jobs
crazy.
that wreck their bodies and their health. If safety were the real concern, legalization with regulation would also work better than pushing everything underground.
Yeah,
I mean,
I agree.
if health were the priority, you can look at Nevada's legalized brothels, that they essentially prove that testing and condoms can drop the STD rates to almost zero.
See, and that's the thing. People are nasty nowadays, bro. People is fucking on everyone, but that's normal. What's not normal is everyone is going raw in everyone, bro. It seems like people are allergic to condoms. Not me, though. I learned my lesson. I had a child at 17. I'm turning 30 in like 20 days, 15 days. Yeah, never again, buddy.
The common answers
Never
are
get
real,
caught slipping
but
again.
they're not the whole story. And much of that story comes down to strengthening the family unit. Throughout history, even more so than today, we've seen a strong
Doesn't he remind you of Jason Kidd? Bro, every time I see him, I think Jason Kidd.
correlation between religion and outlawing prostitution. But why? Now, for believers, the case is simple. Prostitution violates God's design for sex and marriage.
Okay.
It's sinful, it's wrong. But religion also serves a social function beyond theology. Churches have always been enforcers of family cohesion. They marry couples, baptize
fire.
children, and create community around the nuclear family. Whether you see religious teachings as a divine command or social engineering, the effect is the same: stronger families.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with having stronger families. I just feel like people literally like read one of the books and, bro, they take it to heart. Like in the Bible, it says not to judge, but then the Christians be the most judgmental people on the planet, right? I don't know, man. I don't know.
And stronger families.
But it does
truly
preach, but the Bible and such does preach coming together, families, good morals, good values. I honestly think that when I've read the Bible, I just look at the stories, because a lot of the stuff that be happening is like, bro, it's not happening. There's no burning bush that's going to be talking. You know what I'm saying?
benefit everyone. Countries with more nuclear families do better across all metrics. They have lower crime and higher income. Children from nuclear families have higher levels of education. Parents are more engaged in their communities, and they want to improve them for their kids. They volunteer more, they vote more. Subgroups with higher marriage rates and more nuclear families succeed more on nearly every metric you can measure. For instance, children from married parent homes in the United States, they're about 5 times less likely to live in poverty than kids from single parent homes. On one level, it's basic math. You can earn more with 2 parents. And it's well beyond that, though, because
because a child needs the mother for the motherly roles, and they need the father for the fatherly roles. I do not like when people on the internet talk about, oh yeah, well, I'm a mother and a father, or yeah, well, I'm a father and a mother. You know what I'm saying? You can't, there's no way, because you can't teach a fish how to be a fish, you know? Or you can't teach a fish to catch other fish. You got to talk to a fisherman. And so there's certain innate abilities within us for me to just like step up as a man, to be like that, for that father role. And same thing for like mothers, bro. There's so many things that mothers do that men just cannot do, bro. We can try our best, but it just, for a lot of women, it just comes very natural. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to force things with kids. You want it to be natural.
every parent knows raising kids takes a lot of resources beyond money, like time and emotional energy.
And effort.
All of that is easier with 2 people. And these correlations, they hold up across race, religion, income level. Strong families create strong communities. And that's why governments promote marriage. Sometimes...
So, okay. That's the thing, though. It said in the last slide that America is going the wrong way. Is America truly promoting families, or are we promoting debauchery? Because every time we turn on the news, it's something negative. Social media, negative. It seems like, bro, it seems like they want to split up the family household so more people can pay more taxes. You know what I'm saying?
It's basic tax breaks or extra financial protections for married people, like letting a surviving spouse get Social Security or other retirement benefits. Governments even offer breaks for other things that encourage families, like buying a home, child tax credits, even subsidized education. And it's also why society celebrates weddings with public vows and a big party. Saying those vows in front of everyone, it puts pressure on people to follow through. For most of our history, and even for a lot of people now, there's an element of shame and embarrassment if your marriage falls apart. That social pressure isn't comfortable, but it also helps keep families together. Okay,
Yeah.
Ken, so where does prostitution fit into all this? Well, marriage also kind of guarantees you a sexual partner. And studies
No, the fuck it does not. No, the fuck it does not. No, it does not. The amount of, just going to Reddit dead bedrooms. Or it's something close to that. I've had to be on that a few times and be like, yo, bro, what is up? What is going on? You know what I'm saying? Because I don't cheat, you know?
show that married people have more sex than single people. For men who want that, marriage makes it more likely. It's just part of the deal, whether people say it out loud or
Bro,
not.
there was one time someone said that, bro, they haven't had it in 2 years. I said, damn, what the fuck? What did you say? Bro, we're going to have a very uncomfortable conversations. If I have to wait 2 years for the next time, 2 years? Bro, come on.
And data from some countries show that clamping down on prostitution increased marriage rates and divorce rates lessen. Prostitution can fill in some marriage needs and lower the number of nuclear families. Easy access to paid sex can make men more selective or just less likely to want to get married. I mean, why commit to a relationship, work through conflict, or build a life with someone when you can pay for what you want and walk away? Now,
I can tell you why. And I'm sorry I'm pausing so much, but I can tell you why. I just completely forgot my thought.
look, that's obviously a massive oversimplification. Sex isn't the only thing in a relationship or a marriage.
There you go. Once you get enough of anything, bro, it's gonna be like, it's whatever. At that point, it's whatever. You know, if I'm eating the finest food, I don't know, the finest steak in the world, but I eat it 1,000 times, bro, I'm gonna get sick of it. I'm gonna be like, man, this is whatever. You know, so why not have something stable and have the emotional connection and actually like this person for who they are instead of just someone you're just sleeping with, someone you're just humping that you don't even know their middle name. You know what I'm saying? You don't even know if they have STDs or anything. You know what I'm saying? Or if they're on drugs, something incurable, you know? After a while, man, I can tell you from experience, after a while, bro, it's just like, bro, it's just humping. I remember one time I was thinking to myself, I don't even know your last name. Like, I know nothing about you, but I'm inside you. It was like, I was like, bro, I can't keep doing this. There's no way. I'm going to settle down.
But it's a real factor. And the availability of prostitution changes the entire dynamic of courtship and commitment. Look at it from a purely economic angle. Marriage involves negotiation. Men, they usually offer commitment, resources, and stability.
Yeah.
Women, they offer companionship, partnership, and sex. And when one side of that equation
I feel like companionship and partnership are the exact same thing, but I'm going to let them cook.
becomes easy to buy, the bargaining
Hold
power
on. No. We offer sex too now, because there's a lot of times where men smash the chick the first time and it was so weak that they just never come back. And then there's times where they'll literally say that you're a dick appointment because it is so damn good. You know what I'm saying?
shifts. If sex is available on demand for the price of a dinner or a few $100, its value in a relationship diminishes. This isn't just theory. I mean, we've seen what happens when sexual access becomes easier outside of marriage. Generically, as moral standards have changed over the past 50 years and sex outside marriage became more socially acceptable, marriage rates dropped and the age of first marriages rose. Legalized prostitution would push that dynamic even further. So church doctrine and state interest align perfectly. Both want the family preserved. Religious leaders see prostitution as sin and preach against it from the pulpits, and government sees strong families as the foundation of a stable, prosperous society. But in democracies, laws need votes. I mean, religious leaders can preach and governments can do their tax breaks, but neither can ban prostitution without political support. You need organized pressure that goes beyond sermons and statistics, and that support comes most strongly from women. Now, let's look a little deeper at the female factor.
Yeah, but if it comes strongly from women, isn't this sexual empowerment? So I would assume that the woman would be okay with this. Like, yo, maybe I'm not into it, but there's the other woman, all these OnlyFans women and all these other chicks that like their life is hard and they only know how to look good and they only know how to use their body to make money. Why not just make it legal? You know what I'm saying? In the name of feminism and woman empowerment. Oops.
Factor overall in outlawing prostitution. And hey, as a reminder, if I make a substantive mistake here, yell at me in the comments and I'll address it in the description box below.
Facts.
I also have a link to my script and my research notes.
Okay,
so polling data shows females are much less likely than men to support legalized prostitution.
Oh.
The gap runs about 10 to 20 percentage points, depending on the country and depending on the survey.
Interesting.
Men more often take the libertarian point of view, talking about freedom of choice and consenting adults. Women, they more often describe prostitution as exploitation. The pattern holds across.
Wait, how is it exploitation if the woman is doing it like they want to do it? You know what I'm saying? Or I guess in a sense, if they have to do it, right? If they have to do it, and they're not quote unquote forced, but if they have to do it because maybe they just got fired from the job or this, that, and another, I could understand that, but it's really not exploitation. Let me know in the comment section if they consent to it. Is that exploitation? Let me know.
Most of the world and across age groups and education levels, women consistently oppose legalizing prostitution more than men do. In the instances where women weren't around that much, the prostitution trade boomed. Take a look at the California gold rush of 1849. In some camps, the ratio of men to women was 50-1. That scarcity made prostitution not only common, but openly so. Brothels and dance halls, they were major moneymakers.
Boy, she got a chin on her, boy. The crimson chin is back.
The women who migrated there found they could earn quite a bit. Everyone looked the other way until civilization encroached. And that civilization was carried forward, especially with women. The Purity Crusade of the late 1800s and the early 1900s was powered by women's groups, especially after they got the right to vote. Those groups provided the political muscle that the church doctrine alone couldn't deliver. The church built the vocabulary: sin, exploitation, moral decay, and women helped turn that into policy. Groups like the Women's Christian Temperance Union and the female...
So these women actually have morals and values. I can rock with that. I can rock with that.
Moral reforms.
I just thought that women would like it because they don't want a man to tell them what to do with their body. You know what I'm saying? So like, I'm hearing that type of vernacular. So that I'm just, whatever the women want, shit, I want what's best for them.
Societies. They organized petitions. They testified at hearings. They aggressively lobbied politicians for vice crackdowns. Early efforts also include opening rescue homes for prostitutes. The Mann Act, which made it a federal crime to transport a woman for prostitution, passed in 1910, again with the support from a coalition of religious leaders and women's groups.
Interesting.
And beneath the moral language and the broader concerns were more practical ones as well. I mean, women didn't want their husbands bringing home disease, and they didn't want their family money spent on brothels.
That's true.
That dynamic hasn't changed, although among feminists today, there's deep disagreement about prostitution. Anti-prostitution feminists see it as essentially sexual slavery. They argue that no woman can truly consent to prostitution when you consider the broader inequalities in power and resources. They often push the Nordic model, which arrests buyers and treats sellers as victims who need rescue.
Wait, what? How was this? Okay, help me understand. Let me put my thinking cap on. How is the seller a victim if they're the one that's selling it? If they don't want to be a victim, just don't sell it. For the ones that, like, obviously we're not talking about the extreme cases. I'm just talking about a woman who wants to do it for herself. You know what I'm saying? And they're just running that bag up and that's her trap. You know what I'm saying? How was that? Help me understand. Comment section, please.
Positive feminists argue the opposite. To them, prostitution is labor. Sex workers deserve the same rights as any other workers, with safety and legal protections. And groups like Amnesty International agree.
Yeah, because that's helping the economy. You're creating more jobs, right? And then obviously you're gonna need security. These chicks probably getting $300-$400 for like per hour. You know what I'm saying? Probably half that for whatever the 30 minutes or whatever. Just breaking it down from a logical standpoint. So they have expenses like the hotels and things like that. You're gonna need security because there's a whole bunch of fucking weirdo guys. So you're gonna need security. So then that's even more security, which creates even more jobs. The hotels is booming even more because or Airbnb, whichever one, you know what I'm saying, because they're both in a downslope right now. So it's overall it's helping to boost the economy because more jobs equals more job growth. You know what I'm saying? Now you have an account. Now the account is booming as well. There's a whole bunch of different factors to this.
And they endorse full legalization worldwide. It's a serious debate. And both sides claim to speak for women's interests, but both sides can't be right. Yeah. Still, only one side is really winning. The anti-prostitution view dominates policy across almost all of the world. The sex-positive feminists have academic support and some high-profile advocates, but they still don't have the votes or the political power that comes from that.
What I don't understand is the political people, they're the ones that be paying it because they're always getting caught. They always are caught with their quote-unquote secretary. You know what I'm saying? They're always getting caught. So why are they so against it, but then they do it themselves? Bro, these people are pandering to us. Bro, they be liars, bro.
Without women's influence, prostitution laws would look very different. You'd absolutely see more legal brothels and decriminalization. You'd see politicians willing to touch the issue without fear of a backlash. Instead, prostitution is illegal almost everywhere. It's not a conspiracy or a behind-the-scenes power grab. It's governments responding to what their citizens, especially women, want their society to look like.
Okay.
From prostitution
respectable take.
to pretty much every other type of crime, when you look at criminal justice statistics, one number jumps out like crazy. Asians don't commit much crime. I went through it in this video. I'm mainly talking about East Asians, both.
He said, yeah, Asians don't commit much crimes. All right, buddy. All right. If you like this topic or if you like these interesting style of videos, let me know in the comment section. Like, comment, subscribe, all that shit. Peace.